terms health and disease very often in our everyday life. Now, what is meant by health and what is disease? Health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and disease is a particular abnormal condition that negatively affects the structure or function of all or parts of an organism. So, how is our health affected? Our health is affected by genetic disorders, infections, or unhealthy lifestyles, which includes food and water that we consume, rest and exercises we give to our body, the habits we have, etc., leads to many health problems. Let's check on what are all the common diseases we face today. Let us now discuss the disease in detail. How can we identify or detect a problem related to our body? When the functioning of one or more organs or organ system of body is affected, that is characterized by various signs and symptoms. Diseases can be broadly grouped into two categories: infectious disease or non-infectious disease. What is meant by infectious and non-infectious disease? Diseases that are easily transmitted from one person to another are called infectious disease. Some of the infectious diseases include influenza, corona, common cold, etc. Diseases that are not transmitted are called non-infectious disease. Examples include cancer, which is a non-infectious disease. Another common term related to diseases are pathogens. What are pathogens? Pathogens are organisms causing disease to its host. Pathogens are parasites that cause harm by living inside or on the host. They multiply and interfere in normal activities to cause morphological and functional damage to the organs. These pathogens are responsible for causing diseases in the human body. Pathogens have to adapt to life within the environment of the host. For example, the pathogen that enters the gut must know a way of surviving in the stomach at low pH and resisting the various digestive enzymes. Let us discuss in detail the common diseases caused by these pathogens. There are 5 different types of pathogens. They are viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, and helminths. Let us discuss one by one in detail. Viruses are acellular organisms having a genetic material enclosed inside a protein coat. Virus causes common cold, influenza, measles, mumps, poliomyelitis, rabies, smallpox, chickenpox, yellow fever, and AIDS. Can anyone tell about one major virus that causes the world's worst pandemic recently? Yes, it's the coronavirus. The next group are bacteria. Bacteria are unicellular and are found almost everywhere on earth. Some of the harmful bacteria causes diseases like cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, tetanus, diphtheria, pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, leprosy, etc. We'll now move on to protozoa. Protozoans are microscopic unicellular eukaryotes that have a relatively complex internal structure and carry out complex metabolic activities. They can cause malaria, sleeping sickness, and amoebic dysentery. Let's now discuss on the next type, that is fungi. A fungi is any member of the group of eukaryotic organisms that include microorganisms such as yeast and molds or macroorganisms such as mushrooms. They cause ringworm infection and athlete's foot disease, etc. The last group of pathogen is helminths. They cause diseases like filariasis, ascariasis, cysticeriosis, pinworms and scabies. We can now go through few common diseases. Let's start with cholera. Cholera is caused by the bacterium Vibrio cholerae and it is transmitted by contaminated food and water. So what will be the symptoms of this disease? The symptoms are watery diarrhea, vomiting, dehydration, muscle cramps and weight loss. The next common disease is typhoid. Have you heard of typhoid? Typhoid is caused by the bacteria called Salmonella typhi. The disease is transmitted through contaminated food. The symptoms are high fever, constipation, headache, fever in afternoon, slow pulse, eruption of spots and rashes in abdomen, diarrhea and intestinal perforations. Now what is meant by intestinal perforations? Intestinal perforation is the loss of continuity of the bowel wall causing inflammation. Now, how is typhoid detected? Any idea? Typhoid is detected by Vidal test. Let's now see viral diseases. We'll start with polio. Polio is another common disease caused by poliovirus. The disease is transmitted through contaminated food and water or with the contact of infected person. The symptoms of this disease is that the infected person gets paralyzed, which sometimes is fatal. Government has taken many measures to control this disease. Even today, the polio vaccines are mandatory to all children. Let's now move to the next disease, which is tetanus. It is another serious bacterial infection in the nervous system caused by toxin-producing bacterium called Clostridium tetani. The symptoms are painful muscular contractions, particularly in the jaw and neck. It can interfere with the ability to breathe and eventually causing death. There is no complete cure, but the treatment focuses on managing complications. The next common disease is pneumonia. As we have already learned molecular biology, it will be easy to guess the causal organism of pneumonia. You all might have guessed, right? It is caused by a number of infectious agents like bacteria, virus and fungi. But the major ones are Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. These pathogens are transmitted by inhaling droplets or aerosols released by infected people. That is, maybe through sharing glasses and utensils with the infected ones. Both common cold and pneumonia have same symptoms, except pneumonia might include high fever, chills or nausea. Also, pneumonia is a form of acute respiratory infection that affects the lungs. We'll now move to the common cold. It is a very common disease. Even from children to elderly people have common cold. This disease is caused by a virus called rhinovirus. Now, what are rhinoviruses? Rhinoviruses are single-stranded RNA viruses. The virus enters the body by inhaling droplets resulting from cough and sneeze of infected persons. What are the symptoms of this disease? The symptoms are nasal discharge, cough, sore throat, hoarseness, fever, chills, and headache. Some of the human diseases are caused by protozoans too. This include malaria. We all have heard of malaria, aren't we? Malaria is one of the diseases spread by mosquitoes. Are mosquitoes the causal organism of this disease? No. As mentioned earlier, it is caused by a protozoan called Plasmodium. There are different species of Plasmodium such as Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium falciparum, etc. Among them, Plasmodium falciparum is the most fatal one. Malaria is transmitted by biting of female Anopheles mosquito. The Plasmodium reaches the blood and releases hemozoin, a toxin which causes chills and high fever. Now let us discuss about the life cycle of Plasmodium. Plasmodium's life cycles get completed in two hosts, human and mosquito. Here, when a mosquito bites a human host, parasites are injected. These parasites are sporozoites. They reach the liver through bloodstream. Asexual reproduction occurs in the liver cells. The sporozoites produce merozoites. After multiplication, the merozoites comes out bursting the liver cell into the blood. They enter the RBC and multiply asexually. When the RBCs burst, they release hemozoins, which causes cycles of fevers and other symptoms. In the red blood cells, the merozoites produce gametocytes. When the blood is sucked by a mosquito, the gametocytes gets into the mosquito body. The gametocytes then reach the guts of mosquito and get fertilized and develop. They are now called sporozoites. The sporozoites, when become mature, it's the infectious stage of Plasmodium. The sporozoid escapes the intestine and migrates to the mosquito salivary glands. These mosquito carrying sporozoites when bites another human, the cycle continues. Let's now move to the another disease caused by protozoan, that is amoebiosis, which is called amoebic dysentery. It is caused by ant amoeba histolica. This is transmitted by housefly. Housefly carry parasites from feces and drops them onto food and water. A person consuming food left open might get infected with this disease. The disease affects the large intestine and causes blockage there. As the disease affects our large intestine, what can be the symptoms of this disease? The symptoms are constipation, abdominal pain, presence of mucus and blood in the stool, etc. The next category is nematodes. Ascariasis is caused by Ascaris, which is an internal parasite. It is a parasitic worm and it is transmitted by soil, water, vegetables, fruits, etc. contaminated with feces containing eggs of this parasite. Again, through the infected person's feces, and healthy person get affected by it. Now let us see the symptoms. The symptoms are internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, blockage of intestinal passage, etc. The next disease that we are going to discuss is filariasis. This disease is caused by filarial worm. It is also an helminth disease. The mode of transmission is a bite of female Culex mosquito. The symptoms are chronic inflammation in the organs in which they live for many years, deformed limbs, and genital organs. The last disease that we are going to discuss today is ringworm disease. It is caused by Microsporum and Trichophyton. This is a fungal disease transmitted from soil or by using towels, clothes, comb, etc. As most of the fungal disease causes skin infection, the symptoms of this disease is also related to skin, such as appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body such as skin, nails and scalps, causing intense itching. The advancement made in biological science had made us to deal efficiently with many infectious diseases. The use of vaccines enable us to completely eradicate few diseases. Few deadly diseases like smallpox is being eradicated by vaccination. Other infectious disease like polio, pneumonia, tetanus is controlled to a large extent by the use of vaccines. Vaccines play an important role in eradicating many diseases. As we have come to the end of this session, let me put forward a question. Does our body have any mechanism to fight against these diseases, or do we have to completely depend on treatment from outside sources? Find it out. Let's now summarize what we have learned.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.